Today is all about how to get echoic control to enable kids to talk or talk more. I see a constant struggle with people who report, both parents and professionals. They report that their kids have pop-out words or have words here and there, but they can't get them to talk or talk more. So today I'm covering 5 tips to get echoic control. Hi, I'm Dr. Mary Barbera, autism mom, board-certified behavior analyst, and best-selling author of The Verbal Behavior Approach. Each week, I teach you tips on my ideas for turning autism or signs of autism around. So if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, you can do that now. Like I said in the intro, there's what I call pop-out words, which is where kids say things every now and again. Some kids have pop-out words every day. Some kids have pop-out words only every week or every month. And if there's autism regression involved, like with my son Lucas, he actually had words and he lost them. But he also lost I didn't know back then how to get his words back, how to get him talking. And over the past 2 decades, I have developed procedures and better procedures over the past few years, which is really enabling kids to start talking, in some cases within hours, days, or weeks within my online courses and community. I just recently had a grandmother who joined my toddler course, for instance, who posted a video of her grandson who was saying apple for the first time. And he was completely nonverbal, she said, 2 weeks prior when she purchased the toddler course. Even that to me is just, hard to believe. And it's not a race. Some kids don't get verbal, don't get talking for the whole 60 days of the toddler course, because there are still people stuck getting kids talking and getting that echoic control. I actually met with a few moms recently about ways they could get echoic control, because I don't want to have anybody get stuck. So echoic control, let's just define these terms a little bit. Echoic control is basically, I say something, whether that's a word or a sound or a phrase, and you repeat it either exactly or close enough. So if I say apple and you say apple or appa or whatever, word approximation, it's still an echo. Okay. So you hear something and you say something. When I say echoic control, some people who have a bad history with ABA, kind of maybe are a little turned off by that. Like, why are we trying to control people? And basically it's just getting them to imitate you verbally. And that's the way little kids learn to talk. They listen, they repeat, they start putting things together in a very natural way. But with our kids with autism or signs of autism or regression, we need to get echoic control as quickly as possible, because once you do, in my experience, the floodgates oftentimes open. And there's a lot more skills we can teach. So I worked as a board certified behavior analyst since 2003. And I was predominantly, from 2003 to 10, I was predominantly with the Verbal Behavior Project in Pennsylvania schools. I also had some private clients who were very young, and who taught me a lot. And then in 2010, I left the project to finish up my PhD. And at that point, I got a contract with the Birth to 3 agency in my county. And this is really where I took all of my learnings and really started implementing procedures that were easy for parents to do in their homes. And a lot of the procedures I'm going to tell you today are had direct impact from all of those years of working with the young kids who were not talking or were not talking a lot. Some of my initial clients, like Daniel and Mia and Kurt, all who I have permission for to talk about, but they taught me a lot, and I didn't get echoic control over them for months, and in Daniel's case for over a year. So now that I've learned those procedures, I am experiencing better, quicker echoic control using these procedures. So I really thank my initial clients and their parents for hanging in there while we continued to fine-tune the methods to get echoic control as soon as possible. Okay, so let's go through the 5 tips for getting echoic control. So the first tip is, and I was making all these mistakes. I wasn't really doing this the first half of my career as a behavior analyst, but what I do now is I combine all the operants together. I use what we call multiply controlled procedures. So the shoebox program, which you may or may not have heard me talk about. If you Google Mary Barbera shoebox, you'll find a video blog and other information about the shoebox. But basically what the shoebox is you get a shoebox, a large shoebox, cut a slit into it, and get pictures of important family members, pets, reinforcers. And while you're at it, get 2 pictures of the same thing. Yes, you can't use just the picture on the phone. You actually have to print it out. Print out a regular size 4x6 picture, not little ones. So big pictures, 2 of each, all reinforcers, all one person or one item in the picture. So not a picture of mom on a bike with a helmet. That's too many stimuli that could get confusing. Not a picture of mom and dad together. One person or one item per picture. And then you take those pictures one at a time, and you sit diagonally from the child so that you're close enough that you can physically help the child put it in the box or that sort of thing. And you want to hold the picture up one at a time and say the item name, usually up to 3 times in a slow animated way. So mommy, mommy, mommy. And as you say it, the picture's actually coming closer. So you hold it to your mouth, mommy, get a little bit closer, mommy, hand it to the child, mommy. And this is called stimulus pairing. And we want to be saying words. Now, some kids get stuck on, you have to say it 3 times and they get rote right away. So in that case, or they might cry because you're holding out too long and they're getting frustrated. So in that case, you just do it quicker. Mommy, and you just put it in the box. Daddy, fruit snack. And you just get the child. We don't want the child crying at the table or ever if we can avoid it. I mean, we really want to make this fun, make this light. The same procedure of saying words up to 3 times and handing it to the child and being animated, same procedure for potato head, for puzzles, for cause and effect toys. And these are called the early learner programs, materials, which are all a part of my toddler course and early learner course, which is part of the BB bundle. So if you have a child who's 5 or 10 and still not talking, you still use, you would join the BB bundle in that case, not the toddler preschooler course, but the same procedures would be shown. There just might be a little bit difference with the age of the child, but really, if a child's not talking, no matter what their chronological age is, or if they even have a diagnosis, I mean, these techniques work great for just speech delayed kids without any autism. So it doesn't matter if they are not talking or not talking much, or you have no echoic control. These shoebox programs, potato head, all that stuff is just so critical. The key to this multiple control is if the child, like this little boy did, saying apple in 2 weeks for his grandmother, If the child does say apple, while I'm holding up a picture of an apple and he's got the shoebox and I say apple and he says apple, it is actually part manned or request because he wants that picture to put in the box. It's part text because he can see the picture of the apple. And it is part echo because I am saying apple. It also builds up just compliance at the table. He was smiling. He was happy. It builds up listener responding, sitting, putting things in. It just is just great for the parent or professional to use the man, the tact, the echoic, listener responding to get good responding and not just 5 mans in an hour or 5 minutes. We're talking hundreds of interactions that all have the mand as the base for it all. And when we put the manding or requesting at the center of a child's program, whether that program is 15 minutes at the table with the parent each day, or whether that's 6 hours at school, if we put the mand in the center of a child's program, we will have a much better chance of getting echoic control. The old way of doing echoic control, of sitting the therapist and the child and saying, say ball, you can't make a child say ball. You can't make a child say anything. Even if they said ball 2 seconds ago, even if they said it 30 times yesterday, you can't make a child say ball. So we are, with these early learner programs, kind of going in the back door, making it fun, making it appealing, having it part manned, and getting rapid responding and hundreds of responses. And even if a child is not echoing, and this happens for some of the kids, is they will do these programs. Someone will join my course. They'll start the programs. They'll get the materials. They'll start the table time. They'll do these programs. Okay, 15, 20 minutes a day. I'm doing them. He likes it. He's happy. He's sitting there. He's having me say apple, apple, apple 3 times. He's putting it in the box, but he's not saying anything. And then we're still getting pop-out words and no echoic control. Okay, so that's where I met with these few moms about a month ago, and told them, okay, now it's time to go to strategy or tip number 2, which is this. We want to vary it up a little bit, because once kids get used to, you say it, then I say, then I just listen, and then I put it in the box and I get my reinforcement. Like, actually the reinforcement is putting it in the box. A lot of really young kids or kids that are older with developmental ages of a young child like that cause and effect. So they're just sitting and waiting and accepting the thing and putting it in the box. So if we can't get echoic control just like that, then we have to think, okay, what can we do to mix it up? So maybe not say it 3 times, maybe say it once, maybe say it 4 times, maybe. And here's a real trick that worked for establishing echoic control with a client, Mia. I could not get echoic control for months, and until we started showing her apple, saying apple once, then covering up the apple, saying apple again, and then that covering up actually helped Mia say the word because she wanted to see the picture. Sometimes another idea, so cover it up, turn the picture around. Another idea is to put the pictures in a box or a bag. And this holds true for potato head parts or puzzle inset parts too. You could put them in a brown bag and you reach in and you can see what it is, and you can say apple and not show the item to the child, and then they might say apple. Then if say they don't say apple, then you show them the apple and then you hide it again. Just be a little bit more playful, a little bit more sabotaging, to see if you can get them to talk. So those are the 3 main things I would do if you are having a compliant child, but they're still not talking during these early learner programs. Another early learner program that I forgot to mention, which I'll just mention briefly, is matching. Remember how I said get 2 pictures, identical pictures of the mom standing there with no bike and no helmet. Get 2 pictures of mom, 2 pictures of dad, 2 pictures of juice, fruit snack, whatever the child likes. If you have a pet, get 2 pictures of the pet and call that pet the pet's name. But we want to get 2 pictures at the same time, and we can push them all into the shoebox, but we also want to try matching. So we might have 2 or 3 pictures down on the table. We hold up a picture of banana, and the child loves bananas, so that's why banana's in there. Mostly it's 1 to 2 syllables, but banana is kind of one of those acceptable things, even though it's 3 syllables. But okay, so mommy. You might have a picture of mommy. You say mommy, mommy, mommy. And then that you say mommy instead of match. And you might even have to help the child by pointing to the right one. It's identical to identical picture matching. Sometimes, so those matching and puzzles, they all for the same reason. We want to get language going. We want to get echoic control. So doing a puzzle or saying match, match, match. I don't do that with my programs. Everything is language enriched, and taking advantage of that multiple control of, if they say it, it's part man, part tact, part echo. Okay, so tip 1 is to use the early learner materials. Tip 2 is to make a game of it, hide it, surprise, vary it, to mix it up. Tip 3 is to use or to try intraverbal fill-ins for songs. I know with my son, Lucas, this is more than 2 decades ago, before Lucas was diagnosed. I didn't know anything about ABA, very little about autism. My husband goes, "Hey, watch this." And he said, he started singing the Arthur cartoon theme song. And he said, my husband said, and I said, and Lucas said, "Hey." My husband said, "What a wonderful kind of," Lucas said, "day. You can learn to work," and Lucas would say, "play." And I was like, wow, that's cool. That's weird, because he won't say, if I say play, say day, he won't say it. My husband had intraverbal fill-ins without even knowing. Neither of us knew what they were for a long time after. You don't have to really, it doesn't have to be that technical to know what the term is, but basically we're going to try to sing songs and leave the last word blank. So twinkle, twinkle, little, and the child doesn't say it, star. And then instead of keep going with the song, I might do it again. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. So I'm leaving a pause. I'm making it fun. And you can do that for a variety of songs. You can also get a picture of star, or if you're singing, if the child likes you to sing 5 Little Ducks Went Out One Day, get pictures of ducks. Get pictures of animals for, Old MacDonald and those sorts of things. And we're going to try to go in the back door to get song fill-ins. Now, you could see if you don't have echoic control, that's going to be a lot harder to get. But sometimes for kids, especially for kids like Lucas, they'll start to do fill-ins before echoic control, and then we can actually use that to get echoic control. So twinkle, twinkle, little star, twinkle, twinkle, little star, and the child might say star the next time. And so it's definitely worth a serious try, and not just one time try. Keep trying. If they like Peppa Pig, or in my son's case, he liked Barney. So get Barney songs, get nursery rhyme songs, really shape up songs. Tip number 4, which I don't talk about that much, but I should talk about it more. And I am going to be doing a video blog on this soon. And because it is a great tip and a great strategy to use. It's called video modeling. And it is an evidence-based tool that we use to teach language and play skills. And I had a client, Kurt was one of my first clients. I was with him for months and I could not get echoic control. So we had done strategy number 1, where we had all the early learner programs and potato head and shoebox, inset puzzles, and Kurt would, and I'm taking data the whole 2-hour session. I'm there. I'm taking data, writing down every word I can hear. And he was saying about 10 words in 2 hours. And they were predictably eyes, ears, nose, mouth, those kind of words because of potato head. So I was going away. I was trying to teach him. I was making a plan to teach him sign because if you can't get echoic control pretty quickly, you should really move to sign so that a child can get their wants and needs met. So I was going to be teaching him sign, and I was having a therapist, another therapist that was there who I was training, take a video of me teaching Kurt the initial 3 to 5 signs. But Kurt got up, went behind the therapist to watch me on camera. And that's what made me think about video modeling for him. So I had this graph of 10 words in 2 hours for weeks or months, which is kind of embarrassing because I should have really acted more quickly with getting a sign in place. But these were the early days where I was defining my methods. And I mean, at least he was talking some, and he was really cooperative when I started. He had significant aggression and self-injurious behavior. And so we were working on a lot of behaviors, not just talking. So I had the therapist take 2 videos of me. One, I was singing head, shoulders, knees, and toes, very slowly animated. And another video, I just said eyes, ears, nose, mouth, glasses, hi, as I touched my own face body parts. And I asked Mom, I'm like, hey, could you do me a favor? Could you get these 2 videos on Kurt's iPad? I'm going to be gone for 2 or 3 weeks. It was around the holidays and I was taking a trip. I said, just get these on, maybe this is called video modeling. Maybe it'll produce something. Completely forgot about it. And when I came back 2 or 3 weeks later, I walk in, I'm like, hey, hi. And Kurt goes, eyes, nose, mouth, teeth, glasses, hi. And I'm like, oh my God, I forgot about the video. And you must have put the video on the iPad and he must have watched it because it's the exact same order that I did it. That day, instead of getting 10 words in 2 hours, I got 100 words in 2 hours and we were off to the races. We actually put all of Kurt's programs initially on video modeling. We would just say touch banana and just a video right over top of us, our hand. It was just our hand. He was not in the room. We were like touch banana and then the finger would go and that's all he would see. We would have Mom hold up different pictures and just say cup, car, video, whatever the words were. She would hold up the picture, cat, and she would say the word one time. And he started talking with video modeling. So after that happened with the head, shoulders, knees, and toes, with the eyes, ears, nose, I had a lot of kids that were really interested in letters, and that's called hyperlexia, which I did a video blog about. So I would do the Mary videos, which were just me with a magnadoodle, A, B, as I'd write the letters. So all of my kids, because there were no kids in these videos, they were just me doing silly things and singing songs. All my kids got the Mary videos, and this was a big boost in a lot of their languages. So highly, highly recommend it. And if you're still not getting echoic control after using these 4 strategies I've talked to you about, the next, even if you do get echoic control, whether you get echoic control or not, the next step is more assessment and more learning on your part, whether you're a parent or professional. So I highly recommend the VB MAP assessment for all kids that have a language ability of under a 4-year-old, whether they are, not talking at all or have some words, because just because they have some words doesn't mean they're going to be conversational. And there's a whole host of many more complicated strategies that you need to be putting in place, not just for language, but to control problem behavior, to teach self-care, to make sure the child remains happy, to get independence, to teach academics. So complicated, but I think actually these 5 tips to get echoic control are really what's going to open up the floodgates. And if the floodgates don't open, in my opinion, the best thing you can do is to do further assessment and further learning on your part. Again, I think the best way I can help you, besides these free videos and podcasts, are for you to consider joining my online course and community. I know the materials and the community is really making major gains with kids, and so excited about that. So again, the 5 strategies for gaining echoic control are using the early learner programs, such as the shoebox and matching and potato head. Number 2 is mix things up, vary it. Don't always say it 3 times. Hide the card potentially during the sessions. Make it a surprise, put it in a bag, make it fun. Make sure the child is happy and having fun the whole time. Number 3, try song fill-ins to songs the child likes. Number 4 is video modeling, and I would make your own videos based on what your child or clients like, and that might really be the key to getting echoic control and getting good responding going across operants. And the number 5 strategy is to do a VB MAP assessment, do standardized language assessments to make sure where we're at, what the gap is, how to get to the next place, I think is the VB MAP assessment and my courses. So to find out more about how you can teach echoic control and how you can learn how to do the VB MAP, how to learn errorless learning and error correction procedures, and how to teach colors and academics and language for learning and all those kind of things, attend a free workshop at marybarbera.com/workshop. And I hope that I hear from you or you hear from me next week.